Hi everyone, this is another episode of the FUNDCAST and I'm happy to have a new guest from UK this time. And David, could you please introduce yourself and tell us where are you working and what are you doing exactly, please?
Sure. So, hello. My name is David Cole. I'm the International Digital Director for the One campaign, based here in London. And One is an anti-poverty organisation. It's an advocacy organisation that campaigns against extreme poverty around the world. And it's a member organisation with more than 7 million members. Wow. So I head up all our digital operations outside of North America, in terms of basically looking at how we can engage citizens around the world to basically take action to fight extreme poverty.
7 million people around the globe.
Yes.
Wow. So, and maybe you can tell us how do you do it, and for sure also answering the question what's hot, what's new in digital fundraising or in digital engagement.
Sure. So, I mean, maybe on that as a sort of bit of background to One. One is it's a slightly different sort of campaigning organisation from some other NGOs, in that we don't actually fundraise directly from the public. We are funded privately by a range of very kind individuals who support our work. Okay. So we don't do direct individual fundraising, but I think most of us would agree that there's a lot of overlap between broader engagement with individuals about taking action and to make a donation as well. So I think there's a lot of similarities and synergies between the two. So really, our work is all about how we can get citizens to take action, and that could be from just joining One to then taking deeper levels of action, which could be from signing a petition on a particular issue, whether that's the issues of debt in developing countries, to provide funding for particular healthcare initiatives, to also looking at asking citizens in terms of what they can do in their own countries, whether that's to encourage their own governments to increase or maintain levels of overseas aid, or to support a particular piece of legislation. So we're all about looking at providing a range of opportunities for action that our supporters can take, and it's really kind of taking them on a journey from invariably, our supporters will come in via probably signing a petition. It could be on our site, it could be on a third-party website, like change.org, etc. And then it's looking at how we can basically take that person on that journey to begin to explain more about the issues that affect global poverty. Providing them with a range of actions that they can take, and ultimately trying to deepen our engagement with them. So it goes from quite a simple sort of one-click action to then going to a more deeper level, where ultimately we're wanting people to be, contacting their decision makers, whether that's, sending letters, whether it's actually physical meetings. So it's really trying to go from the online to offline, and really sort of taking people up the sort of ladder of engagement. So
you also use offline tools?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for us, the sort of the trick is, in terms of online engagement, is really how to bridge online and offline. And for us, if you're looking at achieving political change, online is wonderful, but it's you can't do that in isolation. So offline is absolutely critical. And whether that's getting people to write letters, whether it's getting people to meet their decision makers, whether it's get people to volunteer at events. So it's really looking at how we can go from online to offline, and vice versa. So it's really just viewing it all as a whole, and not sort of treating them in isolation. Our offline engagement is actually really, really important for us, and it's largely driven by online.
Okay. And could you share 1, 2, 3 ideas or tips or best practice what you're doing, how to convert them or to bring them from online engagement to offline actions?
Sure. I mean, and I suppose the thing I would start off by saying is that we are, like I think many other organisations in the sector, we're learning as we go along. So I don't want to pretend that we have some, we know the secret sauce and we're perfect in this, because we're certainly not. And I think one of the great things about the sector is there's so many amazing organisations doing so many cool things that we're always looking at what other people are doing and seeing what we can frankly copy or borrow from them. I mean, I think for us, the general principles are: one is having a good range of actions that people can take from, and that would be across the broad board of very very simple actions to more complicated things. So there can be a clear progression in the way that people go, and it's finding the right action for the person at that their various entry points. So for us, typically it's looking at, as I said, a very, very simple low bar action to begin with. So it's probably a sort of a one-click petition, to then going to then maybe a more sort of complex set of actions, which might then be asking someone still staying online, but asking them to maybe send a personalized message to a decision maker. So it's still totally digital. It's still pretty simple to do, but it requires a little bit more thought and engagement. And then if they've done that, it's then probably then looking at, okay, then we want you to now send another message on the next action, but this one is going to be completely customized. So we're going to provide a little less help. And we really want you to now, send this message in your own words, to then thinking about, okay, this person's now has taken X number of actions, we can see that they're engaged on our issues, and so it's then really looking at can we then begin to think about how we can maybe take that person offline, and it's then can we provide a range of actions offline in their local area or elsewhere that will match to their issue. So it's all about tracking what the user has done, looking at their engagement levels, and then just finding when is the right point to try and convert them through to a deeper action. And ultimately, it's looking at the data and seeing what actions work, what are the ways that we can be engaging supporters better, how we can provide more feedback on actions they've already taken to show that those are really, really effective, and to ultimately to be wanting to show them that by their action, whether it's signing a petition or whether it's ultimately giving money, that it actually makes a difference. But so people can actually see that this is actually something that's worth continuing, and they can see the benefits of their action, and then they're encouraged to take more action in the future.
And from your side of view, what tools or which channels do really work for one or for other organizations as well? So I guess you use email marketing for sure. And is it the best tool, or is it Snapchat what you use as the best tool?
So I mean, we use a mix, and it can vary greatly by campaign. It can also vary greatly by market. So in Western Europe and North America, where for example it's primarily email and social. We do a lot of work in sub-Saharan Africa, so in places like Nigeria and South Africa, mobile is by far the biggest channel. And we've seen some quite incredible results of just using mobile in that part of the world. I mean, certainly for us, if I'm looking, say, for a European audience, but say for North America, email by far is the most important channel. And I think over the years we've sort of, social has become more and more important. I mean, it's incredibly important for us, but obviously Facebook in particular. But it's still, in terms of if we look at where our actions come from and where new supporters come from, email drives sort of 90% plus every time, which is presents something of a challenge internally, because I think people are often excited by the new and the shiny, and email's considered old and boring. But if you just look at the numbers, there's absolutely no question that that drives the overwhelming majority of engagement for pretty much everything we do. So email is and remains the most important channel. But at the same time, we're exploring how we could use social more effectively as well. So we have done work with Snapchat principally in North America. And looking at what we could do elsewhere with other channels, to see what are new opportunities. We're always looking at how we can find new things that we can offer, and also just new technologies as well that not just will allow us to engage users in different places, but also just finding new ways that we can engage users. So one example that we've recently been experimenting with is using sort of virtual reality to particularly try and provide a more immersive experience for our supporters, where one of the challenges we often face is that if it can be hard if you're sitting in Zurich or in London to really imagine what's it like if you're a 15-year-old girl in rural Tanzania. So we're really looking at how we can use other technologies to really try and put yourselves in the shoes of someone who is experiencing some of the challenges that we campaign on. So really, it's just it's always looking at just what's new and out there. But yeah, for us, email by far the biggest. Then it's sort of social, but increasingly looking at mobile and other channels to see how we can also engage people. But said it can really vary sort of market by market.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Already great insights, and I would love to talk to you for hours and hours. Thank you very much, David.